Hello everyone, this is Negative SEO Guy, and I'm coming to you today from inside a coral reef. No, just kidding. I'm actually just making this video because I think that some people are more visual rather and they would rather watch a video than read some text. But this is essentially a video where I'm going to talk about my latest post. Is negative SEO getting a bad rap? And in that post, I argue that indeed yes, and that there are several situations where individuals, their privacy, their reputation, either personally or professionally, or their business is in jeopardy, and that because of mistakes that somebody made maybe when they were 20 years old at a bachelor party and they had another one more drink than they should have, now 5-10 years later when they're ready to look for a new job, or they are they're hoping to get a promotion, they Google themselves one day and they realize, oh no, that fateful night has come back to haunt them, because now this mugshot appears for their name and not their name, or not their LinkedIn profile. And they've tried every other method. They don't know what else to do, and it's just an embarrassment, and it's an embarrassment to not only them but to their family. Their neighbors are looking at this stuff. Their coworkers are looking at this stuff. Their children, or worse, their children's friends at school, stumble upon it, and now are saying things about how haha, your dad's a drunk, or whatever. Um, it's impossible to bring that reputation back once it's damaged, I think. And if that kind of information is left out there too long, it is going to affect how people see you. And not everybody is comfortable with that. Some people may be, and they don't care if they have mugshots and negative blog posts and things about them. But most people aren't that way. They would like to enjoy some sort of privacy. They would like to own their own reputation instead of, some anonymous blogger. And what makes me mad is that a lot of people in the SEO community or inbound marketing community write blog posts denouncing negative SEO and how it's the worst thing, and they dismiss it out of hand. But what I'm talking about here, and let me be clear, is the real world. The real world, okay? The world where things like this happen, where people's reputations are in jeopardy, where people's professional lives or businesses um, are going down the tubes because of either an aggressive competitor, or a former employee who's now really disgruntled, or a next door neighbor, let's say, who's ticked off because you use your leaf blower too much, and they don't like that, and so they start whatever. I mean, that's an extreme example, I guess, but or it's a former patient that has decided to, let's say, embellish details about your practice because you wouldn't give them a special discount or whatever it happens to be, or they misunderstood your services, whatever. I don't think that you should just put your hands in your pocket and let somebody wail away on your reputation. Um, and I think that it's perfectly legitimate even in a business context. Okay, I agree with a lot of what's being said. The gratuitous use of negative SEO just to, blast somebody out of the SERPs. But at the same time, it's business. If if you didn't want competition, go work for somebody else, right? I mean, go do something else. It's like the person who says, I'd really like to play football, but I don't want to get hit. Or I'd really like to learn, how to box, but I don't want to get a bloody nose. I mean, you've already stepped into that arena, right? It's competition. It's fierce. People are after market share. There is not an unlimited supply of goods. you're selling scarce goods or services to a limited number of people. And the person who sells more, or who has more of that market share, is the person who actually makes money and whose business thrives, and they're able to hire employees and to do cool stuff with their profits. And so I mean, if you don't want to be that guy, that's fine. If you want to be small time, if you want to be pushed around, if you want to be bullied, okay, that's fine. But don't cast aspersions upon all people who say, I don't want to be bullied. I don't want my reputation to be damaged. I don't want my competitors to keep taking advantage of me or my services. They've been posting fake Google reviews, or I had an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend who's damaging my medical practice because I decided it was time to break up and move on, and so they attacked me where it would hurt most and posed as a patient that was dissatisfied. Or you own a restaurant and you're the person who has opened this new steakhouse, and the old sort of established steakhouse has decided to blast you. I mean, guys, business is war, okay? I mean, I clearly come from the Donald Trump point of view that business is brutal. It is a fight. And if you're not prepared for it, you're not cut out for it, right? If you just hope that everybody's going to hold your hand like some sort of, toddler and help you along and, get you through everything and it's going to be okay and, let's all play nice, that's not the real world, okay? That's a fantasy world. And so you can disagree with negative SEO philosophically. Yes, it's sort of like saying, well, I don't believe that we should have war. I don't believe we should have war, personally. I would love to be a pacifist. I think that's great in theory, where everybody just, lays down their arms and, never fights, and, they, maybe thumb wrestle when they have a disagreement. But that's not the real world. In fact, if you look at, and just do this thought experiment, nations have armies for a reason. Because if your nation is threatened or provoked, or if your nation happens to see some sort of injustice in the world, they go into action. They go into military action to either act offensively or defensively. And I don't see why we would say, well, of course that's okay, right? If somebody's doing something that's wrong, it's okay to then fight back against them and to make them stop doing it. But somehow online, we operate by this different code of ethics where that kind of stuff shouldn't happen. Okay, whether or not it should or shouldn't is a philosophical agreement, a discussion, and you can have that discussion. But the reality is that people, like nations, probably generally like to defend themselves. They don't want to be beaten up, right? They want to protect their self-interest, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with protecting one's livelihood, with going after market share. I mean, it is capitalism. That's what we're talking about. And, I'm sorry that the world isn't perfect, but I think that there are a number of instances, whether it's related to a business or something personal or a reputation issue, where or you're merely sending a message when somebody is messing with your website that, hey, stop it, I'm going to stick up for myself. Now that's what I do, with my partners here at Negative SEO Guy, and we've been able to help out a lot of people. We've been able to stop a lot of abuse. If that is what you're interested in, if you're interested in the real world, come talk to us. Send us an email. Learn about how we can help you. We also do positive SEO stuff, and there are cases where people are better suited for that line of attack as well, just to outrank a competitor. But I'm saying, don't dismiss negative SEO out of hand. There's more to it than meets the eye. Thanks, Negative SEO Guy, signing off. Have a great day.